We're bringing it back. We are bringing back one of the most heated debates in Joe Rogan history. And it happens to be with Steven Crowder about what? Weed. That's right. About marijuana. Now, this was one of the most heated arguments I've seen on Joe Rogan, and specifically from Joe Rogan's side. Joe Rogan was just unhappy with Steven Crowder's take on weed. And this conversation is still relevant to this day, believe it or not.
If you go, God damn it, maybe I went too far down this road. If I could just relax one aspect of my dialogue, what would it be? Me, it would be my pipe smoking.
Your pipe smoking? I probably wouldn't talk about the marijuana issue.
That.
I wouldn't care. Because here's the thing. I don't care about it. I
One
really
way
don't.
or the other?
But my issue with it is when, and we saw this in Montreal, I talked about it when people lie about it and they're dishonest with their voting constituency.
Like how so?
Well, saying, it's medicine for A, B, C, or D. It may be medicine for A, but not for B, C, or D.
Well, what are the B, C's, and D's?
Well,
what are the things that's not medicine
an example.
for?
Well, you're asking me what I wouldn't talk about, not asking me to defend it. My point is, I don't really care about it.
But what are the B, C's, and D? Well, you said
it
it's
cures
specific.
cancer.
Well, there has been shown
it helps with cancer about as much as turmeric and ginger. Those things help with cancer.
All those anti-inflammatory things.
Yeah, I know, but it's not a prescription.
But CBD has been shown to have tremendous benefits for cancer and non-psychoactive.
Yeah, and certainly with seizures. I have zero problem with CBD being legalized. But my issue is
cannabis.
I'll have to,
Guys, it's already starting. So when you look into the lore of this episode, why this was so heated, what's going on, why is Joe Rogan on the defense? Come to find out, Joe Rogan says that he had a bit too much to drink. Joe Rogan's been drinking, and this topic gets brought up. And at the time, Joe Rogan was very passionate about marijuana. He still is. Marijuana, shrooms, those are his. It's like a staple for Joe Rogan. That's what I'll say. And Steven Crowder is a conservative. Conservatives weren't on board with legalizing weed. We didn't want Americans to be potheads. We viewed that as negative. But you can see Steven Crowder, he's kind of, hey, listen, something that I wish I wasn't so hard about, something that I wish I didn't talk about so much was weed. He's willing to go back on that. He's willing to kind of just let that one slide. But Joe Rogan is not going to let that one slide.
I feel the need to call people out in bullshit when they say, well, the reason it's not is because of big pharmaceutical companies. Go, hold on a second. There's 7 patents on chemical compounds for marijuana right now.
Right.
The people who stand to make the most out of marijuana legalization are pharmaceutical companies. That's why they make...
That's not true.
Well, it is. If you look at the biggest supplement companies, it's owned by the same pharmaceutical companies.
But you can't patent a plant.
Yes, you can. They patented seven at
you
least.
You can patent strains that are GMOs.
No. 7 active chemical compounds in pot that have been patented as drugs. They've gone through the process.
Yeah,
There's one that's really efficient.
To the point where you can't grow pot. How would you stop someone if pot's legal? If pot's legal, how would anyone? And if that's the truth, then that's a real problem.
If pot is recognized as a medicine, right? If pot is recognized, there is no one who would stand to gain more than pharmaceutical companies by providing it as medicine.
That's not necessarily true. If people are allowed to grow it themselves. Maybe it's not necessarily
true. I'll give you that. But I also think it's not necessarily true that the reason people can't smoke up is because big pharma is sitting somewhere, Martin Shkreli going, oh, let's make pot illegal.
Well, not that
That's
guy.
my only point.
But there are absolutely people who have lobbied, as we talked about how the prison guard union has lobbied to keep marijuana illegal. There's absolutely pharmaceutical companies have done the same thing. It was revealed in the WikiLeaks memos.
See, this is where I was saying
don't interrupt me, you fuck. Where Hillary Clinton said that she's against marijuana in every sense of the word, right? You remember those WikiLeaks papers that came out?
Yeah.
Is he? He said he would leave it up to the states.
Yeah.
That's actually a constitutional approach.
But he wants to beef up the war on drugs.
You know why? I bet someone slipped him a pot cookie once and he looked at his hair in the mirror. And
no, he's a teetotaler. He doesn't even drink.
What the fuck?
Sold vodka, doesn't drink, Donald Trump. It's crazy.
Yeah. Ever?
No, he says he claims he's never had a drop.
Colorado topped $1 billion in legal marijuana.
And you can see, okay, someone slipped him a pot cookie. He looked at his hair, said, what the F, right? Making a joke right here. And Steven Crowder is on defense heavy. He's on defense right now. Wants to change the subject, whatever. So he's kind of looking for an in, how to change the subject. And fucking Jamie, man. Jamie decides to bring up and go back to marijuana. And heart goes out to Steven in this situation. I think I thought he was trying to just make common ground right here, and it didn't work out well for him. And if you guys don't see it yet, you guys still think it's like super cordial, it's fine. It's not.
Sales in 2016.
Good.
Holla.
Yeah.
Holla at Colorado.
Yeah. But another thing that we just wrote about, and again, people get mad with the weed
Economics.
issue. Well, no. Traffic fatalities regarding marijuana have skyrocketed.
Google that, because that's nonsense.
No,
you
we
know,
wrote about it
drunk driving arrests have dropped. What do you mean you've? First of all,
yeah, we wrote about what the sources there, the original studies.
Just because someone gets in an accident and they're high, because hold on, stop.
No, hold on a second. This is
you
because you just
interrupt way too much.
No,
you need to stop.
You talk
hold
in
on
paragraphs.
A second. No. I don't talk in
Go
paragraphs.
ahead.
I make full points. If people are high a lot, and the same amount of fatalities exist, but the people that get checked once they get into these accidents happen to be high, it does not necessarily mean that marijuana caused those fatalities. It could be that you have an increased incidence of people doing marijuana and altercations that could not have been avoided.
It could be.
It could be.
But the statistical change is measurable.
Well, what
from
is it?
pre and
You're
post.
talking about in Colorado.
In states where it's been decriminalized or
Let's
legalized.
go with Colorado. Pull it up, Jamie.
Hold on a second. You just said, let me make my point. Again, my point is I don't care about it.
Yeah, you do.
No, I really don't.
You don't care about
here's
people
the thing.
dying? You son of a bitch.
You get so touchy about it because someone says, you know what, if people want to smoke up, fine. I just don't really buy the arguments that everyone is in some big conspiracy to try and snuff it out.
No, there are some.
And the idea that the drug war will end, and the idea that it's
You don't care about people dying, you son of a bitch. Oh, man. If I'm in that situation, like Steven, take a breath. Love you, man. Take a breath and just laugh. Take a breath and just laugh. But I think that if you're on the defense, if you feel like you're being attacked and somebody calls you a son of a bitch, right? That's a good way to gauge somebody, right? And I think Joe Rogan does these testers. That's why he's one of the best in the business, because he'll test you a little bit. And if I threw that out, son of a bitch, to a friend, to somebody who I'm like cutting up with, and it's not a hostile environment, okay? They're going to shrug that off. They're going to laugh, and they're going to say, no, you shut up, you bitch, right? They're going to have some sort of thing that would tell you, okay, we're cool. We're on the same level, right? And right here, Steven is not taking a breath. He's not laughing at it. He's not acknowledging the jokes. He feels attacked. He's on the defense, and it makes for a toxic conversation to where right now you kind of feel bad for Steven. You kind of feel like Joe Rogan's picking on him, and this could easily be de-escalated by Steven. I think. Easily de-escalated. I don't know.
It cures cancer. I just don't buy that, and
Well,
people
it
get
does.
so upset.
Well, listen,
That's my only point. That's why I
scientific
wouldn't talk about
studies
it.
have proven that it shrinks tumors, that it helps people with cancer. Much like turmeric, much like any things that reduce inflammation, including
Turmeric,
CBD
ginger,
oil.
tart cherry.
Right, but it's not necessarily
fighting
a
for those to be-
magical. They're all legal, and there's no issue because they're not psychoactive.
Right.
But they are beneficial. So all these things are good. Marijuana is one of the things that are good. And don't shore, man. Just like you don't shore turmeric, you don't shore ginger, you don't shore a reduced sugar diet. All those things that reduce inflammation are good for you.
I don't buy that smoking marijuana would be as beneficial as a reduced sugar diet. And my point is that people get so offended by me saying that and saying, but if you want to smoke, go ahead.
You might be correct.
Shouldn't be offensive.
But it doesn't matter because it's not a fucking contest to see what's the most beneficial. The question is it beneficial and is it damaging?
It is. It does matter. The
What's
fact
damaging?
That you said that, no, let me finish my point. It does matter. You said, what would you not talk about? I said, probably pot because I don't care. Well, what do you think about it?
You definitely care. That's
this
why
is
you're
what
arguing
I think
with me about it.
And your eyes light up. And all of a sudden, where ideology and worldviews shouldn't be discussed,
No, you're
going to laser in like a tractor beam on the most important issue of the day that I said, I don't care.
You're the guy that thinks people should be able to do whatever. You're a free market guy,
that's
right?
what I just said.
So if you're a free market guy, why wouldn't you be in support of something, whether it's the most beneficial or equally beneficial?
Just said I am.
But you're not necessarily because you're denying.
But because right now of the chemical compounds.
Hold on, fuckface. You're denying.
Watch it. Come on. It's been a good conversation.
We're friends. I'm just joking. Since marijuana.
See that right there? Come on, fuckface. And then that was the time, right? Like 3 times he's kind of said something, and then Steven draws the line. He says, hey, watch it, watch it. Wait, he says watch it? I don't know if you guys know, but Steven Crowder got in trouble for talking to his pregnant wife. Ring camera got released. It got leaked. And his wife saying stuff to him. And she kind of goes on this like rant and says something that he didn't like. You know what? She says, this is abuse. She's like, this is abuse, because she wanted to take the car. He only has 1 car. Says that he can't be trapped in the house. He needs the car. She's like big, like 8-9 months pregnant, like ready to pop, and she wants to take the car. And she says, oh, I can't do this, Steven. This is like abuse. And he says, watch it. Watch it. I thought that was funny that he just said, watch it again. Just something that he says once he feels like somebody's saying something that's disrespectful. I just caught that, by the way. First time.
Marijuana legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado are at near historic lows.
You haven't bringing up the source that you want to find.
Washington
Bring
Post.
up the study right there. Yeah, Washington Post. Bring up the study that we wrote. We wrote about it on our website.
Look, I don't care about your website, you fuck. Since marijuana legalization, highway fatalities in Colorado
Since you
are
called me
at
hold on a second. Since you called me since you called me a fucking a puss, and you do this with the crazy lady at a comedy club,
buddy, I
you
like
think if you scream enough that it makes a point. My point is, I don't care about it.
I don't think that if we
Smoke
scream
up.
enough,
and you just said I was interrupting. You're interrupting now and screaming.
Because
I don't
Jamie
care about it
put
enough.
up a post, and you're not.
But I don't buy
ignoring
that it's as valuable as a low sugar diet. And the fact
doesn't have to be as
that
valuable.
you can't have a conversation about this as civilly as you did every other issue tells me that there's a problem. This is a TNT powder keg.
I can.
This
the
issue
problem
with
is
pot.
I get very defensive when people start talking over me, and you started it first. But the reality is that a low sugar diet is fine.
Sure,
it's good too. Why is there a competition between a low sugar diet and turmeric and marijuana and CBD oil? Why? Why does it even have to be discussed?
Because one is making the claim regarding legality that it cures cancer.
Because
my
the
only
other
point is I
ones
don't
are
believe
legal.
It. No, my only point is
because the other ones are already legal. They don't have to fight for it.
Yeah, but no one's prescribing. No one's dishing out dispensaries for turmeric or ginger.
They certainly are. If you go to these local juice shops.
Anyway,
you go to these juice shops. People are promoting ginger like crazy, turmeric like crazy.
I
go online.
Couldn't care less people want to smoke joints.
You're an ideologue, buddy.
Really? That's an ideologue position by saying leave it to the states?
Yeah, you're locked in, man.
Really?
You're locked deep into this fucking red state thing, man.
I was raised in a socialist province of Quebec.
Your bread is buttered, buddy.
A socialist province of
Quebec. And meanwhile, you're over here in America, fucking just as much of an immigrant as some dude who sneaks over the wall that Trump just built.
I was born in Detroit, so that remains to be seen. It could be.
Man, what do you guys think? Hey, listen. I watched this a couple years ago, and I agreed with Crowder. But I thought how Crowder handled it was not as well as he could have handled it. Okay, but as far as the weed points, I somewhat agree with Crowder. Now, I'm not one of those free market guys who's like, hell yeah, do weed. We can see now, 2024 vision, that was just the gateway drug. And what's funny is like all of the puritanicals always said, this is the gateway drug. Weed is the gateway drug. You smoke weed, you're going to be shooting up heroin. Not true. Not true. It's not the gateway drug. It is for the government, though. The government somehow went from legalizing weed, blurring the lines of that, handing it over to the states, and now hard drugs are legal. And this isn't something that we should want for any of our Americans. And if we can have a war on drugs to prevent Americans from doing that, from being meth heads, from being unuseful in society, then those measures should be taken. But see, having a war on drugs means having a war on the cartel. That means closing down our borders. That means putting up a fight against Mexico. And that is inherently an America first position. Right now, when I think of wars, I think of freaking Mexico. I think of Canada. What they're doing to Canadians, what they're doing to them with these mandates, with this woke tyranny, how that affects America, you think it might not. Go look at the trucker convoy. Get back with me on that. It affects America. When people are smoking a cigarette and it's laced with fentanyl, where is that from? People are saying it's from China, getting back to the cartels, bringing it into the tobacco. I don't know. But I know that the cartels love the drug industry and they love the American consumer of the drug industry. And the free market will tell you this is great. We got to remove the power of the cartel by making sure that big pharma can sell meth, making sure that the pharmaceutical companies can get together in their labs and they can cook something up, because we don't want the cartels to have the power. I think there's a simpler way, and it's going to war, honestly. Going to war with the cartels, going to war with those who are hurting our Americans, who are hurting our country, hurting our families, hurting our values. But what do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. See you in the next one. Goodbye.